Shaquille O'Neal was cruel in the NBA. He's funny and has a $400 million net worth. But how excellent was his career, and where does he rank among the top centers? Is size really essential for the NBA? Well, for Shaq, size definitely mattered. At age 3, Shaq's mother carried his birth certificate to indicate he wasn't in school and could ride the bus for free. Due to his stature, he regularly beat up other kids and was becoming a juvenile criminal. Almost expelled from the 7th grade, without Philip Harrison, Shaq's stepfather, the dead or in prison cliche would have been Shaq's fate. Harrison's army experience and rough love were precisely what Shaq needed. Shaq would be whooped for poor behavior and whipped with a cord. When Shaq was 13, he was playing basketball at Harry's army installation in Germany and met Louisiana State University head coach Dale Brown. "Soldier, what's your rank?" "I'm just 13, so I don't have a rank," Shaq said. "Take me to your father right now." Brown awarded Shaq an LSU scholarship on the spot. O'Neal's family relocated to Texas, where he starred at Cole High School. He led his team to a 68-1 record and a state title as a senior. Schools offered O'Neal scholarships, but he remained loyal to Louisiana State and Coach Brown. Before Shaq's first game at Louisiana State University, the entire stadium grew silent as everyone murmured about a monster that had just come out to play. He was 7'1", about 300 pounds with a 7'7" wingspan, huge hands, and size 23 shoes. It was hard to think someone so massive could move that quickly. Shaq had a disappointing rookie year at Louisiana State, but he averaged 25 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 blocks the following two years. Even though Christian Laettner was chosen for the 1992 Olympic Dream Team, Shaq was the better NBA prospect, and the Orlando Magic picked him first overall in the 1992 NBA draft. The largest Disney child ever, Shaq didn't play like a rookie. Against the Nets, he smashed the backboard and brought down the basket. The NBA made teams reinforce their baskets to resist Shaq's onslaught, but he was more than just a freak of nature. His handles were great for his stature, and he ran the quick break as Giannis does now. Averaging 23 points, 14 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks per game, he was the first rookie picked to the All-Star game since Michael Jordan in 1985, and was the overwhelming pick for Rookie of the Year. He commanded the camera and microphone just as effectively as he did on the court, making him a marketer's dream. After missing the playoffs by 1 game as a rookie, Shaq's fame led to Hollywood roles. He starred in Blue Chips, one of the finest basketball movies ever, where he played the character Neon Budo. On set, Shaq met Penny Hardaway, a Memphis point guard. The two had tremendous chemistry. Orlando had a small opportunity to acquire the first selection in the upcoming draft, but they lucked out, and Shaq pressured the Magic management to choose Penny Hardaway. In 1994, Shaq averaged 29 points per game on 60 shots, 13 rebounds, and 3 blocks, and was 4th in MVP voting. In the conference finals, Shaq led Orlando to triumph in Game 7, avenging their defeat to Indiana. And it wasn't over yet. In the finals, they faced Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets. With 10 seconds left in Game 1, Orlando led by 3. Nick Anderson missed both free throws, was fouled again, and retrieved the rebound. He missed the next 2, and Kenny Smith's 3 sent the game into overtime. In overtime, the Rockets won, causing Orlando psychological damage. Shaq performed well offensively, but he couldn't stop Hakeem, and the Rockets swept the Magic. O'Neal subsequently acknowledged he was immature at the time, that he and Dennis Scott partied for a week before the finals instead of training. In 1996, Orlando won 60 games, which was a franchise record. O'Neal was a free agent at the end of the season, and nobody thought much of it, believing Shaq would stay in Orlando since the team was so good. However, the franchise began to block his contract discussions, giving O'Neal less money than he desired. And according to 85% of Orlando Sentinel readers, O'Neal isn't worth $100 million. Shaq's ego couldn't handle it any longer, and he wanted out. So Jerry West stepped in and attracted Shaq to Los Angeles with a lucrative deal. In the summer after the 1999 season, they signed six-time NBA champion head coach Phil Jackson. Shaq stopped creating lousy movies and partying. For the first time in his life, he spent the summer at the gym, getting into the best form of his career. O'Neal averaged almost 30 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks per game, leading the NBA in scoring and field goal percentage. He was one vote away from being the NBA's first unanimous MVP. The Lakers won 67 games during the regular season in 2000, ranking 7th best all time. They seemed to sleepwalk through the West and into the finals. However, the Portland Trail Blazers had different ideas. In Game 7 of the conference finals, Portland led by 15 points in the fourth quarter, and it appeared that Shaq would have to swallow another bitter pill. But the Blazers kept missing, and with 1 minute to go, Kobe Bryant threw an alley-oop to Shaq, completing the comeback and becoming arguably the most memorable play in Lakers history. They would end up facing the Pacers in the NBA Finals, and Shaq was on a mission. Despite strong opposition from Reggie Miller and Jalen Rose, they couldn't stop O'Neal, who averaged 38 points and 17 rebounds in the series. The Lakers prevailed in 6 games, and Shaq became an NBA champion for the first time. But Diesel seemed content with one title and spent the rest of the summer relaxing and partying. So when Kobe Bryant arrived at training camp and Shaq was out of shape, he was irritated, and their relationship began to worsen. While Shaq was losing weight, Kobe became the Lakers' new best player. And despite the fact the Lakers won 11 fewer games than the previous year, everything was still falling into place for the playoffs. They swept the Western Conference, and everyone expected them to do the same in the finals against the Sixers. But Allen Iverson produced one of the finest final games in history. He scored 48 points and stepped over Tyronn Lue to steal Game 1 for the Sixers. This, however, irritated Shaq. So despite being defended by Defensive Player of the Year Dikembe Mutombo, Shaq took his game to another level. He averaged 33 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, 3.5 blocks per game as the Lakers won the following 4 games and the title. Shaq and Kobe, along with the Lakers, maintained their supremacy in 2002. But this year, the Sacramento Kings were the number 1 seed and provided a good opponent. The Kings were the top team all year and had everything it needed to dethrone the Lakers. However, due to some terrible luck and possibly the worst reffing in NBA history, Sacramento was unable to deliver the knockout blow, and the Lakers moved to the finals where they swept the Nets. O'Neal averaged 36 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocks per game in the playoffs and earned his 3rd straight Finals MVP award. Tim Duncan and the Spurs were too powerful for the Lakers in 2003. As a result, in 2004, LA signed Karl Malone and Gary Payton to create a powerhouse squad. Despite being the greatest team on paper, the Lakers were incredibly dysfunctional. Shaq clashed with Jerry Buss about a new deal and blasted Kobe, saying Kobe was selfish and didn't give him enough passes. So Kobe retaliated, labeling O'Neal obese and lazy. But despite the turbulence, the Lakers were still very skilled and again advanced to the NBA Finals. However, the lack of team camaraderie reared its ugly head when it mattered the most, with Kobe pushing things and Ben Wallace effectively guarding Shaq one-on-one for the first time in recent years. Detroit beat LA in 5 games, putting an end to Shaq and Kobe's friendship, which had been deteriorating beyond repair. The Lakers didn't want to lose Kobe, and Shaq was too pricey, so they sent Big Diesel to Miami and South Beach. Shaq weighed approximately 400 pounds by the end of his Lakers career. With Pat Riley and Miami's 10% body fat regulation, it wasn't gonna fly. So for the 2005 season, Big Daddy Diesel quickly returned to 320 pounds, determined to prove to the Lakers that he should have been picked over Kobe. He finished second in MVP voting behind Steve Nash, and he's still irritated about that. But the Heat had the number 1 seed and swept their first 2 playoff series. However, the Pistons defeated them in 7 games in the conference finals. Shaq couldn't let that go. And in 2006, Miami got even with the Pistons, advancing to the finals for the first time in their team history. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, against the Mavericks, the Heat seemed to be out of